want to start by thanking all of the organizations who came together. I think probably one of the greatest achievements is that people who normally get overlooked and treated without dignity and respect are being treated with dignity and respect. And, we've had a history in the city of Kalamazoo with respects to unhoused and our homeless and folks in housing crisis. So for that, I am extremely grateful. I did hear that from people who have been working with folks who are in the hoteling situation that they feel hope and they feel happiness in a way that they hadn't felt before. So for that, that's indescribable. I have to say though, I am extremely conflicted by the ask, not for the purposes of helping the unhoused community and not for the purposes of getting people off of toxic and contaminated land, but for the fact that this is an inequitable Band-Aid on a problem that has existed for quite some time. I'm very happy that Gwendolyn Hooker lifted up the demographics of who is unsheltered and who is in this encampment situation. Again, I don't want anyone to be unhoused, but the data, we have spent several years lifting up the data around who is homeless in our community. And in March, which is Women's History Month, and in a time of COVID, when the county of Kalamazoo has some of the highest numbers of homeless children, we created a $700,000 intervention that does not include them. And I want to tell you a story about a young woman who had enough money to stay at the Baymont on 11th Street as she was homeless. They asked her to move to the Cork Street location because they were preparing the hotel for renovations, which essentially was for this project here. She, thankfully, through Open Door, thank you, Stephanie, she was able to get somewhere. I have two other mothers, one timed out of the DV shelter. She works in Kalamazoo, has a child. She's driving back and forth to sleep on someone's couch in Grand Rapids. She can't get into this intervention. Another mother who's having to choose between food and paying for a hotel. She's paying to stay at the Red Roof Inn right now, who can't get into this intervention. So my conflict is for the mothers and the families who we already knew were in toxic, unsafe situations. And because they were not visible to people, they did not get this same attention. And this is not a criticism to any of the organizations that are helping to provide services, because someone needs to do it and it needs to be done with dignity. And I'm happy that every last one of these organizations are doing this work. But I am conflicted because the city said they wanted to be anti-racist and inclusive. And this is a $250,000 ask that we know primarily is assisting a certain demographic. Where is the ask alongside of it that's going to be open for everyone? Because these mothers and these families, we already knew their situation before COVID. And I am so happy that people drove by and got uncomfortable with people being outside. But don't forget about the people that are ringing up your groceries, the ones that are out here making ends meet. They can't get into this because we recreated a system that's already problematic. Because in the way it's set up, you have to be bottomed out to get help. That's a problem. And we just recreated the same problem that already is in existence. So I am conflicted. Do I want people outside? I do not. But do I want to give $250,000 to an inequitable Band-Aid? No, not without some assurances that in 2 weeks, there's going to be a turnaround that says there's something for everybody. Because what do we do with these mothers? What do we do with these families that the data already showed were in a problem circumstance? Aside from that, I have questions around what about the people who are not going to go to the hotel for a plethora of reasons. We've known for quite some time that everyone does not want to go inside. So at the end of this intervention, when we know it's going to get extremely hot or extremely cold, where's the permanent outdoor space for those folks? And where are the assurances that people are not going to be arrested while we don't have permanent outdoor space? And what is the plan for what that looks like? And I do want to get answers to those questions, but I just wanted to lift up the deep-seated conflict that I'm going through right now with how to handle this situation moving forward.